YouTubers, welcome back for another adventure. So what we have here is a 2001 Kawasaki Bayou 300, and it caught fire, right? You can see it's melted down. The carburetor's off of it, but this is melted. You can see the melting here. The wire harness is damaged. They put it out pretty quickly, right? But you can see the great meltdown. They also kind of cobbed this intake manifold on it, so you guys could tell there was a little action here. So we're gonna fix it. We're gonna get it running, and we're gonna do this as a cheap build. I think I have 85 bucks tied up in this. And what do I need? I need carburation and ignition. But I want to do with this, though, I want to set it up that, you know, your basic kid could turn this into their rat runner and ride it about. So to do that, start out with the carb. Let me show you what I'm going to do. For carburation, I love the PZ27, the PZ30, and they even have a PZ32 if you want to go for the real big boy. I find the PZ27 puts out plenty of fuel for 300 cc's, 250, 200. It's actually a carburetor off of what would be the ATC 200S. I love the 200S, you guys know that. So wherever I can move a part from the 200S to something else, I always seem to. So I got the carburetor, and I want to create a flange for it, so I kind of go through my plumbing supply. This is an 1.5 inch cap. This is an 1.25 inch pipe to that slides on 1.25 inch. So I don't know, extender, whatever you want to call it. The 1.5 inch cap fits this beautifully, as you see. And if you take this and combine it with a piece of brass, you have a pipe to flange adapter. Drilling these holes, not difficult. Use graph paper to plot out where they should be, right? Get the centers of each circle. So that's how I figure out where the holes need to be. For drilling them, I use a step bit, you know, solder and all that. You guys could figure out how to make them. The more of these you make, the better you get at it. This engine hasn't been started in quite a while, so just quickly, you want to kind of turn it over slowly, and I could feel that I'm fighting compression and I'm not fighting. Wow, this thing does have plenty of compression. By the way, just looking this thing over quickly, it doesn't look all battered, right? The back looks fairly straight. Other than the front where that light's pushed in, it's really pretty straight. I think this was a real nice machine that unfortunately somebody had catch fire on them, and even the bars are straight. Doesn't look like it did the roly-poly. So this machine will be nice to get running, and to get running well. This video is going to need a part 1 and a part 2. So for part 1, we're going to get her running. Got the portable CDI box there. Now, when you take apart the wire harness, this goes to the engine, right? You got this one guy, the blue wire and the black wire with the white stripe. They don't stick to Honda type conventions. The blue wire goes to the input of the CDI from the pulse generator, and the black wire with the white stripe, I'm going with that as ground, and I have another ground going to here. These other wires are all unplugged, taped up and unplugged. I did that because, once again, there was a little charbroil here, and I'm not quite sure what is doing what. So I'd rather just unplug them and hope that I don't see any smoke and go forward from there. Once again, this is how I'm triggering my portable CDI, right? The blue wire and the black and white, and that's going to the input of the CDI. When it comes, there's the air filter, the PZ27, the flange. This was already altered a little bit before I got to it, and it wasn't done by me. It was done by a reciprocating saw or a hacksaw. I'm a grinder kind of guy, so I recognize my handiwork. So there we are. To look decent, this should be cleaned up a little bit. The carb's on. I made sure this is closing fully. So I got to put some gas into it, and then we'll give it a try on the old cold start. So give me a moment. Before I ever put gas in the machine, I always take a few seconds to check the oil, and hopefully you guys could see that oil line there. I jacked it up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it, and hopefully you guys see the change in the oil line. Right, suddenly you don't see the oil line anymore. So I always, you know, with these hourglass things, I always kind of go with tilting the machine, because I can never really tell for sure how much oil's in them. And it really kind of sucks if you get a machine and you get it to the point where it's running but you don't have oil in it, so you kill the machine instead of the person who ruined it before you. So looks like I got the whole thing in the picture. Let's see if we can't get this started. This is a cold start. As a matter of fact, my jump pack terminal's up against the exhaust, so if it's anything more than a cold start, it's going to melt. Choke is on, ignition is on. Sounds pretty good. Not great, but what I'll do is I'll get it out for a little ride. That'll give things a moment to settle down. The choke is on one click. Yeah, that normal thumping. The normal thumping out the exhaust could be the valves are just a touch sticky. So anyway, we're going to take it easy on it. I do have an air cleaner, so I've been doing a lot of cold starts lately, and without the air cleaner they don't quite run normally. Let's go with normal, so that's probably running pretty normal. Anyway, I'm going to smash the seat onto it, let it idle for a while, put some more gas in it. I only put a tiny little bit, right? You can see the meniscus dropping down. So anyway, let me get it ready for a ride. Okay, seems to be somewhat happily idling away. So I even have a seat this time. the clutch is a little tight. Something else that needs adjustment. This is a particularly interesting quad, the 2001 Bayou 300. It has a open and then locking differential in the back. So for getting around turns, if you unlock the differential, particularly in the woods where there's a lot of technical, tight driving, makes it easier to turn. I think it's currently unlocked. Yeah, it's unlocked. The tires aren't fighting. You don't plow as much. And then once again, you could lock them, give you a straight axle in the back, so to speak, and that gives you the ability to get through mud or whatever. Little romping action here. Whoa. Don't want to romp my way into a tree. Yeah, this thing, the shifting clutch isn't doing what it should be. Yeah, I gotta dig up some dirt somewhere and fill that in. I have to choke on one clutch. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, she winds up good. Let me get through the water, then we'll... Alright. I like it. Let's stay the heck out of the water. Put a million gallons in here. This bike, this thing rides nice. You can tell by the speed I'm going, I'm over-driving it a little bit. Mud action here. Oh, and my differential's unlocked. Lucky I didn't have to push. I end up finding thorns sticking out of my arms. Oops, second. I should hang on when I'm shifting gears. This is a nice romping bike. The suspension is nice. Put ground through Calvin's corners here. So it was pretty cool yesterday. I grew up in a neighborhood, teenage years, South Blooming Grove, New York, near Monroe. It was called Monroe back in my day. Anyway, I had a friend of mine who I ran off to college, and he went off to West Point. So he was kind of busy for 8 years, and during those 8 years I graduated and got married and bought a house and so forth, so I got kind of tied up, and we've run across each other at like some funerals. So my cousin is closer with him. She grew up across the street and spent more years there than I did. Anyway, she kept a little more in touch. So we went out to lunch yesterday, and she had him meet us there. It was fun. He and I dated the same girl separately. And what's cool is we both broke up with her for the same reason. We both thought she was a tad self-centered. So what's more self-centered than a teenage boy? Can't think of much, so I'm out of gas. That's what that is. The puttering. Does he make it? Coming in hot. ATV down. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this ride. Stay tuned for part 2. I was looking at the wire harness, and though it's burned up, most of it appears to still be there. So I might be able to clean up and use it. It also has a key, which is really nice. And I think I have the plastics for it. I think I have the green plastics for this thing. So this could actually become a looker. It's always nice when you could get the OEM ignition system fixed and usable, and then you can make it go. It really handles well. All around, it's got Dunlop tires, and it still has, the center cap things. So I'm thinking this thing could be original, and that it doesn't have a crazy amount of miles on it. Obviously the valves are ticking a little bit. I'm running them loose. You don't want to start out with a machine that's been sitting with the valves real tight. You can have an unpleasant surprise. You want to allow them to stay closed as long as possible. So that's, you might have heard just a little bit of ticking. That's what that was. Tomorrow is the first Stormville of the year. Yay! It's only on Saturday. It's not a Saturday, Sunday. Spring in the country. So anybody who's in the Hudson Valley or within an hour or whatever, if you want to come to Stormville, please do. If you do see me and recognize me there, remember, you can look through your screen and see me, but I can't look back through the camera and see you. So, hi Harvey is cool. Running up behind me and punching me in the back is scary, so please try not to scare me, And I want to finish off by saying I really want to thank you guys for watching and commenting and subscribing. You can see for very little money we were out riding this thing, right? $85 for the critter. The ignition system I'm going to wire in, call it another 20. That's 105. A battery. 45, make it 150. The tires seem to be holding air. What do I really have to do? So the carburetor, call that another, with the plumbing fitting, call it another $25. Be rough about it, call it $200. You know what, for a project all-terrain vehicle, $200 is not too much money to spend, and it's enjoyable. But it's getting harder and harder to find these machines in any shape, like, unless they're shredded in several crates, any shape for under $100. Typically, it seems that even for junk, non-running China stuff, I see people trying to get $500 for. So I don't understand. I guess somebody must pay them, because eventually they disappear from Marketplace and Craigslist and wherever else I see them. So either somebody buys them or somebody shows up and offers them half money, and eventually they take it, one or the other. Anyway, once again, I really thank you all for watching. I thank you for the support, advice, wisdom. You guys know a lot more of the details than I do on specific machines, and I always appreciate getting that information. We got some good weather coming, so hopefully I can get out and get more of these projects going forward. In the meantime, once again, feet down, heads up, get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.